Hello and happy Friday. Yes, hello, Teradetto. It's nice to see you, and hello to everyone else who might be in chat right now. So I don't know if you all can tell, but lately I have, to be honest, been slightly under the weather. Not too much, not to a crazy extent, but my throat has been a little sore these past few days, so if my voice sounds different, that's probably the reason why. But fortunately, I'm still feeling well enough to play this game at least, and if we're able to beat the game today, chat, then that is something that will certainly make me feel better. So I'm looking forward to giving that a try. It's Friday the 13th. Ooh, yes, lucky Friday the 13th. You're right, Teradetto. Perhaps that will give me some extra luck in this game, or maybe some extra bad luck. Maybe that will be my one-way ticket to riding the snake, you know, the fact that it's Friday the 13th. Maybe playing this game on Friday the 13th is a rookie mistake. I suppose only time will tell. That's where we need an indigo heart custom emoji for you in the future. Ooh, that's a nice idea, Tia. Yeah, I could see an indigo heart custom emoji. That could be kind of cool. Because so far, like, one thing that I actually kind of like seeing playing out, and it's kind of funny to see it play out, is like in the comments, sometimes people will give blue hearts, and then sometimes they'll give like the purple hearts, and it's almost like a little battle between like the blue and purple hearts. It always just kind of makes me chuckle a little bit. But maybe someday, maybe someday. Hope you feel better soon. Oh, thank you, Blast Cubes. I appreciate that. I really do. Sorry to hear that you do sound different. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear my voice does sound a little bit different. I also had a rough time sleeping last night, but was able to get a little bit of sleep earlier today. But also there's a part of me that figures like the guy in this game, Diogenes, he seems like the kind of guy who would not let, you know, a rough night of sleep or a sore throat get him down. And so in order to live up to his example, I'm still going through with today's stream. So with that in mind, chat, let us begin. You might remember last time, speaking of indigo, so look at these colors, nice kind of alignment there. Last time we were at the ice cliff, and we actually had made it quite a bit farther up to the radio tower, but then, alas, I fell down back to the ice cliff. Luckily, though, it was just the ice cliff that I fell down to, so not a terrible loss. I'm going to take a second here just to get used to the motion. Yeah, definitely do not want to launch myself off the cliff again, because it was hell getting up here. And that would just be the worst thing if I had to do all that over again. Oh wow, just the other day, another philosophy streamer I like felt bad. Oh, well, sorry to hear that they were feeling bad. Hope they feel better soon. Also, welcome, Yovko. They were like sick. Oh, I see. Maybe it's a thing going around philosophy streamers now. Who knows? So last time, chat, I remember this first ice cliff, because there are really two ice cliffs here. And the first one isn't quite as bad as the second one. First one, you just kind of have to keep up relatively consistent momentum. And you can almost kind of pull yourself up if you're careful. But it has been a little while since I've played this game. I haven't played it since the last stream. So I'm a little bit rusty. But I'm sure with just a little bit of time, it'll all come back to me. That's right. It'll all come back to me. I'm just going to reposition down here. Okay, there we go. Yep. Do not want to fall down back to where the bucket and the snake are. Insert joke about how whatever Karis and I had finally spread to you, but seriously, since your constitution seems pretty strong, I really hope you'll bounce back soon. Thanks, Dia. Yeah, usually whenever I do get sick with things, which is not very often, I'm able to recover pretty quickly. So I predict that will be the case for this too. What I would not be able to recover from quickly, though, is if I fall all the way down the cliff and can't get back up again. They took some drugs and read a paper I wanted them to read, and since my birthday is soon, 16th of March, they agreed. It went great. Oh, that's cool. That's a nice little birthday present then. Happy early birthday, UFCO. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of me being sick or because of just rusty from lack of play, but yeah, these first few attempts up the ice slope are probably going to be a little bit rough. But that's okay. Just have to try to get a little bit better each time. Or even if not each time, just a little bit better in general. Sometimes you can find little notches too on the ice cliff, kind of like this one that I'm in right now. It doesn't look like the college would normally stay up there, but must have really good friction. Also, I did see in a stream of someone else playing this game that apparently, yeah, like sometimes you can see the hammer dig in just a little bit more, and when it does that, it's almost like it's found a hidden notch. So that can be one way of kind of bringing yourself up carefully. See, like that time it stayed in, but then, yeah, then you have to find a place where your cauldron can rest too. So that's, I guess, part of the difficulty. Okay, I guess, yeah, there's no hidden notch around there. Might have to just kind of launch myself up. Launch myself up as best I can. Yeah, kind of like that. But while I keep struggling with this chat, how's everyone's Friday? I hope y'all are doing well. On a similar note, not that this is about Friday, but I do want to say, Tia, congratulations on finishing the Xenoblade game on stream yesterday. I know that was a long kind of streaming project for you, so that's cool that you were able to get that all complete. Yeah, I hope everyone else is having a good Friday too. At least a better Friday than my man Diogenes here seems to be having. But it's okay, Diogenes. Once we get to the top, all this will all be worth it. Okay, good. I think I found a good hidden notch there. Almost reminds me of the hidden blocks in Super Mario Brothers, you know? Sometimes in this game, you have to kind of take that mentality and just be looking for the hidden things. I should probably not be this bent out of shape about it, but I feel so bad that my Oshi is sick. Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate your sympathy, Tia. If it makes you feel any better, it's not like a super serious, you know, it could be a lot worse. And if it were really bad, I probably just wouldn't have done today's stream, but I figured, you know, I can still probably manage. Oh yeah, that was a good little notch right there. The trouble / the trick is when you get those special notches, not to get too cocky, not to launch yourself too far, because then that can actually end up pushing you sort of away from the cliffside, which is what you don't want. You want to keep your motion kind of to the right. So, ooh, that was a little bit too close for comfort there. So yeah, I really don't know how long this stream is going to last. Like, some people in the previous one were saying maybe it'll be like 10 minutes or so if I, you know, play my cards right. But Who knows? Could end up turning into an endurance stream. I will try not to let it get to that point, but if it does, it does. Blue Ice Cube says, I held a snake today. Oh, that's cool. Held a snake. I wonder what the context was. Like, did you go to the zoo and they had like an exhibit where you could hold snakes, or was it part of like an activity at school? But yeah, getting to hold a snake is kind of cool because, like, at first, if you haven't held one before, you might think they're going to be slimy, but then they're not slimy. It's like they're actually, their scales are kind of dry, so it's kind of an interesting sensation. Thanks for the congratulations. The last episode was such a struggle that I thought this must be what Hacks feels like playing Getting Over It. Hope we both get to celebrate beating these games this week. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, that would be nice if we could both celebrate that this week. Judging from these first few attempts up the ice cliff, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to, but we'll see. Just gotta keep trying. I have a question. Is it common to call lava cake chocolate souffle? Well, Yabko, I'm afraid you're asking the wrong person. When it comes to cooking knowledge, I am not the most knowledgeable. I mean, yeah, lava cake. I mean, I guess that's like the chocolate cake with like melted fudge in it, kind of. That's what I think of when I think of lava cake. Chocolate souffle. Yeah, I really don't know exactly what I think of when I think of chocolate souffle. I mean, I suppose if you wanted to call it that, you could, if you just wanted to make it sound a little fancier. Like using a French word always makes it sound fancier, so that's something you could do if you were ever, you know, in the mood for something that sounds a little bit different from just lava cake. But whatever you decide to call it, I'm sure it will taste just as good. So if you decide to make a lava cake / chocolate souffle, then, you know, more power to you. Okay, so that's one place I can rest. Can I put my axe down here? Sometimes I'm just gonna see if I can, like... Oh, okay, maybe that's a place where there's a hidden notch. I've heard it is common in Israel to call it that. Okay, I didn't know that. Well, maybe that's a good... Okay, good. So yeah, there, it looks like my cauldron can also rest in these notches. My mother is making me some for my birthday. Oh, wow. That sounds like a great thing to eat on your birthday. It's a really nice image, you know, your mom eating, or mom making a sort of, you know, nice little birthday dish like that. Okay, I think this is another hidden notch. I hear you say it's not that bad, but I can hear the sickness in your voice and it breaks me up. Is there a food you'd like to eat while sick? I wish I could make it for you. Oh, thank you, Tia. Yeah, when it comes to foods I like to eat while sick, I suppose any kind of just like fruit type dish. Like I try to drink, you know, a fair amount of fruit juice and things like that to see if that'll help me feel better. And also just if it's things that are like warm, like, you know, like rice and, you know, or like mashed potatoes, and then it's warm and it, you know, can be soothing on the throat, I suppose, for when a person is sick. Oops. So I don't think there's that many more hidden notches close to the midpoint, which means once I get up to that last one, I might have to just... kind of try to launch myself over pretty quickly and not take the slow route. Also, since you asked, I'm also sick this Friday. It's still trying to rehearse for tomorrow's stream. Oh, that's right. Yes, you have a karaoke stream tomorrow, don't you? Well, I could see how a karaoke stream, that would be sort of a special challenge to do one of those while sick. So, yeah, just keep in mind, Tia, if you're not able to do it, I'm sure everyone will understand. Yeah, it's kind of of a strange sensation because, you know, I remember playing this game last time and not having too much trouble on this lower ice cliff. It's the top one is where it really starts getting brutal. But I suppose it's all part of the process of getting over it. Yeah, I suppose one way you could think of the challenge here is not to go too fast, not to go too slow, just, you know, regular... well, but then sometimes that happens and it just, you know, loses all friction. No, they won't. My inner perfectionist screams. Well, in that case, T, I think your inner perfectionist and I should have a talk. I think your inner perfectionist doesn't see that other people are maybe, you know, more understanding than that inner perfectionist thinks. At least that's something I've generally found to be true, is that other people, I think, are often less hard on us than we ourselves can be. Context for the snake. I went to a nature sanctuary. Okay, cool. What was that Plato morality thing? Middle something? So I'm not sure what you're referring to, Yuapko. I might need a little more context. If you mean like my Plato stream, then yeah, I played and beat Super Mario Brothers on stream while reading Plato. So yeah, that stream was a while back, like maybe a week and a half ago. Glad to know the snake is all right. Yes, the snake will always be all right. The snake is doing perfectly fine. Also, welcome, Web Concepts. Welcome to the stream. Seriously, though, I want to do it for the art. I've been planning this set list for a long time and want to actualize it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can understand that. If you've been planning something for a long time, it makes sense to want to go ahead and put it out there. So, in light of that, I really do hope to you that that you will feel better soon. Yeah, see, how can I do this, chat? Why was it so much easier last time than it is this time? Well, nothing to do but give it another try. Okay, come on, Diogenes. Hidden notches. Regular motions. Yes, yes, good. Just like that. No, not like that. Not like that. I think you did it really slow the first time when it worked. Yeah, that does sound right. Golden mean. Okay, but not sure I remember mentioning a golden mean anytime soon. Maybe I'm just forgetting the context around that. Certainly golden mean can come up sometimes when people are talking about Aristotle's views, particularly his view of virtue. Like virtue as sort of the mean between two extremes. Oh yes, yeah, Aristotelian virtue ethics, I think. Yeah, that's right. It's like for example, the virtue of courage would be the mean between, on one hand, the extreme of cowardice, so not having enough courage or not being willing to put yourself in danger even when necessary. And on the other hand would be the extreme of foolhardiness, you know, of rushing into danger even when it's not necessary. And the virtue of courage would be kind of the happy medium between those two extremes on Aristotle's view. This weekend looks to be the weird cosmic event where Karis is the one philosophy VTuber who is not sick, I feel. Ooh, yes. Yeah, for anyone who's not up to date on the news, Karis is coming back to streaming tomorrow. He'll be doing a collab with Zytin Altair on Robot Love. So that's a wonderful piece of news for the Wasabi VTuber communities that Karis will be returning to streaming. No, you didn't mention it. You just said you need to climb the thing, not too fast and not too slow. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, that's starting to make sense now. Yeah, maybe if Aristotle were here, he could help me to climb this cliff. Maybe the new apartment saved his health. Could be, could be. Sometimes a change of scenery is all you need. Okay, that time I was actually doing a little bit better. I'm slowly getting the hang of it. So I'm going to take the time to collab with Zytin in between, begging for alms. And yeah, I know Zytin and Karis have done some kind of similar collabs before. Not, on this subject, but like they've done, collab streams before. And I think anytime, the humanities and the sciences can do, like, interdisciplinary things like that, that is, it's a really neat idea for a collab stream. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Okay, good. Got some good. Now it's the friction, chat, every time. But it's too early to start crying. I think I'm gonna save that for, like, a couple of hours in, if I'm still at this point. Maybe if I just keep going like this, even like relatively full. Okay, maybe not. But sometimes, like, when I go in like the relatively full circle arcs, it ends up actually working out better than you think it's going to. Don't let the mountain get to you. It's trying to demoralize you. Ooh. You bring up a good point, Web of Concepts. If I get demoralized, I'm letting the mountain win. And we don't want that. Sometimes, just like my hammer, it just loses all friction. Hard to get up the mountain when there's no friction. Okay, so then do it this way. Okay, good. Hit a notch there. Okay. Yep, so now I'm going to try to rest my cauldron right where my hammer is. Okay, good. Whew. All right. Now, I think this was the part where kind of hard to find more hidden notches after this point. Not sure if there really are many. Might have to just sort of brute force it. Yeah, from this point on. I usually find it helpful to visualize how my moves will play out when I play a game, and that helps me improve faster somehow. Yeah, agreed, Web of Concepts. The visualization can certainly help. In this case, sometimes, like, I visualize, okay, like I swing around and it's going to get me up the mountain, but then I just end up, like, sliding back down again. Come on, get up there. Come on. Get up there. No. Okay. That time, chat, it was the power of pure frustration that was impelling Diogenes forward. Perhaps I can harness that once more. Not that that's even the ultimate challenge. The main challenge, I think, is the second part of this cliff when you get a bit past that. But all in good time, all in good time. Okay, good. Maybe right there for my hammer is a pretty good spot. Okay. Okay, good. So kind of a little small resting place here. Whew. All right. So chat, we've been playing almost 30 minutes, and this is the farthest we've gotten so far today. But you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. Gonna try a similar approach to this part. See if I can find... Oops. Yeah, I don't really have a wide space to rest on here, so that's something I've got to be mindful of. But I wonder... Yeah, it seems like my hammer is kind of digging in deeper in this part. So perhaps if I try a bit early on... Oh, nope. Still slipping down there. As a general rule, all success is due to the snake. What? I don't know about that web of concepts. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe the snake is secretly behind all of this. That's what we'll find out perhaps in the maybe post-credit sequence. That would be good for, yeah, good post-credit sequence. But until then, color me skeptical. Nope. Nope. Okay. Wonder, is my cauldron capable of resting? Okay, good. So there is a resting point right there. It's useful to know. Okay. Yeah, so far I'm actually doing a bit better than I thought I would be in terms of being able to stay on this small midpoint section. Because I think last time I had a little bit of trouble sometimes with just not falling all the way back down to the beginning. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up the momentum. Is, yeah, arguably the main challenge. The main challenge in this part. But one thing that I can vow right now, chat, or at least vow to do to the best of my ability, which is maybe not such a solemn vow after all, is that if I get up to the radio tower again, I will not fall back down the ice cliff like I did last time. Because I was so close to the end, I know, but then alas, tragedy struck. I'm going to try to avoid that this time. So we'll see if I can. Yeah, you were like 2 swings away. Yeah, and I'm sorry to anyone who was there and had to see it, because I know that's anticlimactic. But I guess that's sometimes the nature of a game like this. But for right now, I'm telling myself that'll just make it all the more climactic if I manage to beat it this stream. Or if I manage to beat it whenever, you know, some stream. some stream one of these days. You don't have to make us vows like that. But I do believe in you. Okay, well, thank you, Tia. Yes, that was my solemn gamer's vow to all of you. But it's good to know that it's not necessary. That you all will understand in any case. Oops. Come on. Come on. Oh, okay, okay. That time, I was actually pretty close that time. Pretty close, okay. It's a little earlier in the stream than I thought it would be for this, but chat, just like last time, I'm getting a little bit hot, so I'm gonna have to unbutton my shirt. Okay. Also helps with being able to rub my mouse hand on my undershirt for when it gets sweaty. Okay. All right, that's a little bit better. Now I'm officially in gamer focus mode, chat. Nope, nope, okay. No, 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 no. Okay. So far, gamer focus mode is not working out well. Okay, that's a little bit better. Whew. Every new time I drive my hammer into the cliff, chat, there's just so much anxiety. I don't know. Can I overcome this, chat? Can I handle this? Oh, I think that might be a pretty good notch right there. Intense. Yeah, it is intense. If I can just find places like that where my hammer digs a little bit deeper. Okay. All right. Can almost see it, chat. The end is almost in sight. There's the end of the ice cliff, at least. Almost in sight. No, 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 no. Oh, why does it always lose friction? Okay. But gain some potentially useful data that time, I suppose. Yeah, I think this was around the notch that I had last time. Okay. It's just a matter of tight timing with these turns and not taking it too fast or too slow. Let us try again. No, no, okay. It was a good try. That was a decent try. Yep. Not mad about that as an attempt. So let's try it again. Oh, actually, maybe this... Oh, it looked like there might have been a good notch there, but I guess perhaps not. Sometimes it's just tough to tell. Yep, these next few feet are probably like the hardest part of the game, or one of the hardest parts of the game, at least for me. Now, this is one of those games that people can disagree on which parts are the hardest, but for me, this sheer cliff face I'm also playing Getting Over It right now in solidarity with you. Okay, thank you. That actually does help me feel better that someone else is kind of going alongside it, you know, with me. So you know what it's like. Yep, you know what it's like to keep falling down again and again and again, and having to pick yourself up from it. Yeah, sometimes you can seem to get like a pretty good rhythm, but then at the last moment, it all comes crashing down. But as long as it doesn't crash down too far, I suppose I'm okay with that. If you wouldn't mind answering, what do you think moral language, moral statements is, at least in the context of moral cognitivism versus non-cognitivism? Yeah, I mean, I'll try not to go into this too much since it is kind of maybe a little off topic, but yeah, I suppose I don't mind saying something briefly on that. Yeah, I guess the definition of morality and what moral statements are, it's certainly a disputed issue in philosophy. I'm not sure if I even have a fully settled view on it myself. I know one thing I might say is that perhaps moral statements, at least like one way that you might distinguish or might propose distinguishing between moral statements and non-moral statements, is that moral ones tend to involve things like blame. Like if moral norms are violated, then perhaps we blame people for violating moral norms in a way we don't for violating other kinds of norms. Though I realize that proposal is subject to some controversy. Like some people might say, you know, isn't there such a thing as epistemic blame? That's something that is, that's a proposal that's been kind of explored in some recent literature. Oh, no. But yeah, I guess for right now, that's about all I have to say on it. So chat, now we're back at the beginning of the ice cliff, but again, at least this bottom one's, I think, not quite as hard as the top one. So now that I've had some more practice with this bottom one, maybe I'll be able to get up relatively faster than the previous go around. So close, yes. I know, yeah, it really was close, wasn't it? Wow, you were pretty close. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that last little bit of the cliff there, I feel like is extra slippery. They make that last part involve kind of a slightly heightened challenge. No talking while sweating, murmurs and weak, sickly voice. Yeah, probably that's what I'm going to do in the future. I think when I get up to that last part, I might just have to go into like silent like gamer focus mode. But while we're doing that, while I'm trying to get back up this first part of the cliff, I am a little curious, chat. What do you think Diogenes' personality is like? Like if you were to have a conversation with him, you know, like have a beer with him, or just like go out like on a walk and like try to talk to him, get to know him better. Like what do you think he would talk about? What kinds of things would you want to talk about with him? Because for my part, imagine him being like a really focused guy, you know, he seems to have really strong focus. So like if he has any other projects in his life apart from climbing mountains with hammers and cauldrons, he probably puts a lot of work into them and like, you know, really focuses really heavily on like one thing at a time. That's the vibe. that I get from this guy. Probably blunt, stubborn, and loves talking about hammers and cauldrons. Yeah, it seems fair. Can't say I know anyone like that in real life, you know. He's kind of a special guy. Almost makes me think, like, if I saw someone doing this in real life, like moving around with like a hammer and cauldron, well, first I guess I would want to know like what their arm routine is like at the gym, because like, wow. But also, like, I would definitely go up and talk to them. I would be so intrigued, but I just would not be able to stop myself. Yep, all around. Bring it around town. Nope. Oh. I give up. I fell. I hate this game. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take a break from it. So yeah, taking a break from it, Web of Concepts, is a totally reasonable choice. Aren't they based on Diogenes? Yes, I think that's a very fair assumption you have. I haven't seen any official statement from the creator, but that was the first thing I thought when I started playing this game, is like, hey, isn't this guy kind of like Diogenes? And then later, like, he actually calls the guy Diogenes in the game during one of his voiceovers. So I think it's fair to say, yeah, that probably was the inspiration. Gonna try to rest here for... Oh, no, okay. You mean the real-life philosopher or the game character? If the former, I can imagine him sounding a little like my Buddhist grandma. I mean, I think Yuavko's thought was like, isn't the game character based or sort of loosely inspired by the real-life philosopher? Which I think he was, especially because I know the creator of this game, Bennett Foddy, actually like has philosophy papers that he's published. Like he actually is a philosopher. So I think it seems like a fair guess that this character was maybe inspired in some way by the real-life Diogenes. And the real-life Diogenes, for anyone who didn't know, kind of, at least is reported to have, like, you know, lived in a barrel and, you know, been kind of a strange dude. So kind of does fit with the character we're playing as in this game, I'd say. Story where he had only a cup to drink out of. Then we saw a kid drinking with his hand. He gave up on that cup too. Yes, he was very good at living kind of the lifestyle many or most people would consider ascetic, but, you know, doing so in a way that maybe he didn't regard it that way. Maybe, you know, regarding himself as living like a king. Which fits with this character too, because you get the sense that this guy, like, the only thing he wants in life is to get up this mountain, you know, using this hammer and cauldron. And, like, that's not really that much of a thing, at least, like, in terms of money. Like, he doesn't have to spend a lot of money, you know, we suppose, to do this. He just has to, I mean, I don't know how much a cauldron takes or how much a hammer like this is worth, like, probably not much, but, you know, he's not out there like buying like expensive cars and mansions and things like that. He just wants to do like his strange like cauldron hammer hobby. And, you know, you gotta respect that. Gotta respect someone who is that driven. Supposedly masturbated in the streets. Yeah, I think that's another story about Diogenes, that sometimes he was the kind of guy who did not have many inhibitions, let's say, you know. He was just that kind of fella. Like the way you say actually is a philosopher, like it's mutually exclusive with being a game dev. It's cool that he's both, though. Well, yeah, I guess I maybe could have put it a little better, but my thought there was just like, it's maybe a little rare to see a game developer who is also a philosopher and not just in the sense of like a game developer who's like has some interest in philosophy, but like has actually, you know, published philosophical work. I'm trying to think if there are any other examples that I know of, but I really can't say I do. Although one of the designers of Arc Raiders randomly liked one of my Substack posts one day. Like, I got a notification saying such and such person, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, liked your Substack post. And I looked him up, and he's like one of the main designers on the game Arc Raiders. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I guess there's this guy's like into philosophy for some reason. Remember a quote saying something like, if only I could satisfy my hunger by rubbing my belly. Oh yeah, then I guess that would be, you would need even less to satisfy one's needs, or to your needs, if that were the case. Okay, just gonna do my previous strategy of getting a good rhythm. Once I start slipping, oh no. I hate this game. Yeah, I mean, when I think about the significance of this game, I suppose one thing about it is that it has arguably inspired a lot of other games. Like other, you know, rage games, as they're sometimes called. Like, I'm sure the game of Sisyphus was largely inspired by it. I mean, to bring it back to another philosophical connection, the game of Sisyphus, there's the one called A Difficult Game About Climbing, you know, Jump King, other games in this vein. But I think this one was really kind of before all of those. But it's funny, because when I look at those other games, I don't have much experience with Jump King, but like, at least comparing this to the game of Sisyphus, the game of Sisyphus is so much easier than this. like this one, this game is just absolutely crazy difficult compared to the game of Sisyphus. The game of Sisyphus is a cakewalk compared to this. What is meant to be an analogy to rubbing some other thing? Oh, I see. You know what to do. Time to email them for an Arc Raiders sponsorship. Ooh, that would be kind of cool, yeah. But then I guess I'd have to like stream it, which, you know, I could, but it'd be a bit of a different stream from the ordinary for me. But maybe I should give it a try sometime, you know? I'll be like, okay, chat. No more philosophy streams. Now I've got this big sponsorship. All my streams from now on are going to be playing Arc Raiders. I'm going to be like the new, you know, the burnt peanut. But that's going to be my new content direction, chat. What would you say, chat? Would you have any thoughts on that? Well, earlier I was saying this bottom one's not quite as hard as the top one, which I guess is true, but still is a challenge, though. It is still something not to be underestimated. Okay. Again and again. I think, yeah, it really starts getting slippery right around the middle and the top, especially. For each section of this, I suppose you could say. Still, ultimately, a little unsure of whether I should like take it slow or try to move fast. I think with this bottom one, moving fast is maybe slightly more of a viable strategy than for the top one. Axaeon is greater than burnt peanut. Well, thank you, Tia. I appreciate your very kind, very generous comparison. I suppose we have a bit of a different niche, you know. Bit of a different niche for our content, so I guess if one day we just randomly got switched into a parallel universe, maybe he'd be the one, you know, doing philosophy streams, and I'd be the one like yelling into the microphone while playing, you know, Arc Raiders or Apex. We're gonna get this, chat. Don't worry. We're gonna get this. Okay. I'm actually surprised my college would stay here. I wouldn't have thought it would stick here. But if I remember correctly, last time, right around here was a pretty decent spot for my hammer. Okay, so midpoint. Okay, we're at the midpoint again, so that's good. Which means now the real challenge begins. Maybe this is a good spot for it. Oops. I feel like it wouldn't really be you if you weren't soft-spoken and measured, though. Yeah, perhaps not. Or maybe this is an unholy thing to imagine, but imagine like if in this parallel universe, I was just as soft-spoken and measured as I am in my current self, but for some reason I had the Burnt Peanuts avatar, and for some reason he had my avatar, but like acted his usual way. It would be kind of strange, you know. But I'm sure there are stranger parallel universes out there. Maybe right here. I wonder if I can rest right before this ice cliff part. If I can, then that would be good. I feel like, okay. This might be the best position I've had so far this stream today. Look how dramatic it is, chat, when he's holding his hammer straight up in the air like that. He's like, yes, this is the moment that will make or break it. Yes, let's go. We are in business, chat. We are back in action. Back where we need to be. Whew. For a second, I wasn't sure we were going to make it, but now I'm a little bit more confident. But I swear, if I fall back down the ice cliff after this, I'm going to be so upset. Okay. Yep. Radio tower. Our old friend, the radio tower. Yes, the final challenge of this game. I wonder what's on the other side of the radio tower. Like, if I keep going to the right. Or maybe nothing. Maybe I'm not able to get up there. But all right, chat, you ready for this? Let's give it a try. Nice. Yo, let's go. Yes. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, little falls like that aren't a big deal. I just have to be careful not to launch myself to the left accidentally, like far when I'm trying to launch from the tower. Your triumphant reactions are so cute. Oh, thank you. Oh. Yeah, my mom always told me, I was a little cutie pie. So anyway, oh. Maybe I should have a stream someday of just like showing like old like childhood pictures, like Axaeon when he was just a little tyke. What say you, chat? Would that be a little too unusual, a little too unexpected? Not the kind of stream that you normally think of seeing. I could see that being fun, but first, have to beat this game. I don't know, a bit personal. True, true. Notice how the gravity seems lighter up here. Ooh, that's actually a good point, Web Concepts. I had not noticed that, but yeah, like if I pogo, yeah, that pogo actually went pretty high. So I think you're right, that gravity is a little bit lighter. Okay. Crap, I'd pay money to see that. Well, I shall keep it in mind then, Tia. I'd pay money not to see it. Oh. Ooh, kind of hurts, Web of Concepts. But thank you for your honesty. Right. So, chat, I think I'm just going to have to try to launch myself up pretty far. Okay. Well, that didn't go too well, but maybe if I just pogo again, I can get to where I need to go. Okay. I'm just kidding, by the way. Okay. I figured you probably were. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. No. Okay. It's all right. As long as we just follow, you know, straight down. Not a big deal. I'm sure there's a best way of going about this in terms of like when to pogo and when to just kind of swing up, you know, circle formation. Still figuring it out. Still figuring it out, but I will get there eventually. I find it so interesting to see what handsome men looked like when they were young. Like Leon. It's just the most adorable little thing. Oh, I'm sure he was. Okay. It's not quite there. Gonna have to put on my focus mode here, chat. Ooh, that was kind of cool. See? Okay, now I'm at the spot where I can try to pogo again. Oh, no. It's funny because, like, during the just standard motions of climbing up the radio tower, it doesn't feel quite as difficult as the ice cliff. But I suppose on the radio tower, more than anywhere else, you really don't want to get cocky. You want to, like, take it slowly and carefully. Because if you're not careful with it, then you just might find yourself back on the ice cliff. Like in my previous stream of this game. Also, I wonder if there's any symbolic significance to this shopping cart here. Like maybe this is representing the point at which consumerism ends, and we're getting to kind of the Greek-looking temple here. Maybe this is where consumerism ends and philosophy begins. And since we're going up higher and higher, maybe it's even the Platonic forms that we're starting to appreciate. Like maybe this game is ultimately another take on the allegory of the cave, going higher and higher. And interestingly, though, the sky is kind of dark up above. Like we're not going out of the cave and seeing the sun. So maybe we're not going to see the form of the good, but as in the allegory, but maybe it's something else we'll be seeing that's nevertheless more real than in the world below. Oh wow, we're already close to the top. Can't wait to get the bad ending. No, This is a no bad ending zone. We're getting the good ending on this game. Also, Axe Mom sounds really nice in general, even if you're joking about the cutie pie thing. I don't know if she used the term cutie pie exactly, but she has said that she thought I was adorable. I was thinking the same thing. Abandon the material, embrace the spiritual. I see. So maybe that is what this game is ultimately about. Okay. Oops. Nope. Okay, not a big deal. I think that was the jump where last time I lost it all, but if I can just get there more reliably and just keep, improving in that regard, eventually one of the times I will succeed. Okay, water break, chat. Don't forget to stay hydrated too. I'm just gonna go drink some water for a second. Okay, that's a little better. Maybe the dev just likes shopping carts and radio towers. Yeah, it's always a possibility. Sometimes we can read symbolism into things when perhaps it's not there. Though I suppose that does raise the debate, could the symbolism be there even if it's not intended by the author? It's a fairly broad debate in aesthetics, I suppose, and in philosophy of art. But I'd like to think Bennett Foddy would be very happy that we're thinking of these questions in connection to playing this game. It seems to me like he intended the game to raise those questions, even if it comes up maybe in only kind of a subtle way in the game itself. I think the game is intended to make the player kind of confront these questions, confront these issues. I mean, by all accounts, you must have been extrapolating based on what you look like now. And your supposed behavior as a kid, yes. Perhaps. Okay, yeah, my solution to any difficult question is just defaulting to the low-tier particularism I'm used to. Yeah, doesn't that get kind of old sometimes, though? Like, particularism just to me seems like okay, like, is that really gonna be just, like, the response to everything? Isn't that kind of a lazy view? Doesn't mean it's not true, but I just can't help feeling like, isn't there something in us that seeks, deeper explanations to things? But maybe particularism ultimately is the best we can hope for. In which case I would be sad, but, I suppose sometimes the truth is sad. Okay. Oh. So that first part there is part of the hurdle. Important question. Does your mom still think you're adorable now? Knowing what loving moms are like, she probably does. Even if she doesn't say it. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. It's not something she really says anymore, but probably does still think it. It's lazy, but I'm too lazy to stop. Oh, okay, I see. Maybe there should be like a particularist support group, Like the 12 steps to no longer being a moral particularist. Oh, dang it. Okay. That time I got a little too cocky, but no harm done. Just back at the temple, and also kind of a cool sight to see a temple like this with a radio tower on it. Like an intriguing blend of the ancient and the contemporary. I do wonder if part of what Bennett Foddy is communicating about the philosopher's lifestyle in this game is that maybe there's a certain loneliness to it. Because you notice there's no one else that we encounter in this game, apart from his voiceovers, but like there are no other characters. Well, there is that kid on the slide, but he's like static, and the snake, but like none of them are moving or doing anything. They're more like props than like characters. So I don't know if that is meant to communicate anything about what it means to be a philosopher. Oh, dang it. Okay. Back to the shopping cart. I agree. I find trying to uncover the larger truths about life has an irresistible allure to it. Yes, very much so. So you have felt the philosopher's calling, I see. Okay. Oops, nope. Almost had it there. I should have just moved my hammer slightly differently. The snake is not a problem. Okay, I can see I've offended you on this one. I'm sorry, Web of Concepts. I didn't mean to offend. It was just, you know, just giving my interpretation. I think getting better at philosophy is very rewarding. Yeah, I think like a lot of things, you know, the more philosophy you do, there's a sense in which the better it gets. Because the more you find yourself understanding things and not just coming out with a sense of, you know, sheer confusion, but actually feeling like you're developing a worldview, developing your own arguments, your own reasons. And that is a very rewarding process. And particularly if it's developing in a way that makes you feel as if you're getting closer to the truth, I think that is something that sort of answers to our human need of curiosity, our need to know and to understand things. Do you have any view on what is / should be first philosophy? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if I do, because I suppose my view is just that, you know, whatever the intuitive starting points are, perhaps we can just sort of bring it all into reflective equilibrium. But I don't know if there's any particular like category of intuitions that I would favor over others. Like, I suppose my view would be, as long as we don't have defeaters, you know, or reasons to doubt a given intuition, then we should take the fact that we have the intuition as, you know, evidence for whatever content the intuition has. But I think, yeah, some of those will be like, you know, metaphysical intuitions, some of them will be ethical intuitions, some of them will be epistemic intuitions. And all seems to me to be on roughly a level playing field in terms of like what we, you know, start with. But that's just my view. I know I'm not sure I have like a strong view on that question, though, of what should be first philosophy. Makes me happy to hear you say that. I may not be the most trained philosopher, but I feel like it's calling. Oh, my calling all the same. I see. Yeah, I think it's a calling all philosophers have felt. And that's kind of cool to look back on the history of like all philosophers and think, yes, like they've all felt this calling in some way or another. Okay. Oh. Can I do this from... Okay, good. I don't need to jump up. Bro, when phenomenal conservatism. Yeah, so I suppose I am pretty sympathetic to phenomenal conservatism. I think getting epistemology figured out first is important as what beliefs are justified. We'll hang on that. I mean, yeah, that seems to me like a respectable view, I suppose, that if we do get epistemology right, then maybe that will help with everything else. I wonder, if we think that, should we think that epistemologists have the most knowledge of any philosopher? We know ethicists aren't necessarily the most ethical, but do epistemologists have the most knowledge? Yeah, we did it! Oh, okay, big rocks, wow, okay. Time to focus.
I dedicate this game to you, the one who came this far. I give it to you with all my love.
That's nice. What a nice message. Okay. Wow, we're going up and up and up, chat. Okay. Going into space. Space. The final frontier. Here we go. One final pogo. We're here beyond the stars, chat. And that's it. And credits. We finally did it, chat. A game by Bennett Foddy. Wow. 3D models, textures, music, sound, and code by various other folks. There's probably some music playing right now, but or there would be if I had the music set on stream. I'm not sure if it would get the stream copyright struck though, so I'm gonna leave it silent for now. But thank you, chat, for all your nice comments. Yes, sweet. Hope your work is done. No bad ending today. No bad ending today. Congrats. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Oh, also, I can still control Diogenes here, even as the credits are going up. It's kind of cool. Ah, yes, I recognize some of these stars from my travels, chat. Some of these stars are quite familiar to me from my days as an orb. But what a way for the game to end, though, by actually taking you up into space like this. And because it also just recontextualizes his whole quest so far. Like, so far, you've been thinking, okay, maybe he's just trying to get to the top of this mountain. But with him actually going up into space and beyond, it makes you wonder, is there something more to his character? Like, is he even human at all? Is he some kind of alien being that's trying to reconnect with his home, trying to find maybe his people again, or maybe even just trying to find a new world altogether? Becoming a star was the real goal? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the metaphorical significance here, is it's like about becoming a star, or just the search, the never-ending search, the never-ending quest to exceed our limitations as humans. Thanks for playing the game, reading the credits. Sorry about that one time when you got all the way to the top and fell all the way to the bottom. Okay, that's it from me. Yeah, I think he's might be referring to the snake there. And here I can still control him. Wow. Welcome to the top of the mountain. Steam achievement, got over it. You've reached the top of the mountain. If you're alone, you can come inside and say hello. I solemnly swear that I'm not recording or streaming this, and I understand that only those who have climbed are welcome. Oh no, chat. But I am streaming this. What's he gonna say? Clear time. Okay, 11 hours, 15 minutes. That is my time. The bad end is about the radio tower, if you aren't careful. Oh, interesting. Could the bad end be if you go to the right of the radio tower? Like you start up climbing it from the left side, but like if you go down the right side, I guess I can say maybe that is the bad end. I'm gonna have to look that up after this stream, because now I'm curious to know what that involves. So chat, just to in order to respect actually, this is kind of an interesting ethical question in its own right. Yeah, you could hide the game source and click. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should do that. Maybe contribute. I mean, I'm sure the video is elsewhere on YouTube, but it seems like he's like this is intended in a serious spirit. And after that nice message he gave us, I feel like we should respect the wishes here. So I'm just going to hide the game screen for a bit and watch it. And you all can find, I'm sure there are videos of this on YouTube. You can watch along right now if you'd like to see it. But as maybe I will just narrate what it is in a very general sense that does not compromise the spirit of not only those who have climbed. First, okay, chat, it's asking me for my name. Yeah, just give us your audio. Oh, okay, I don't know if it's gonna Oh, you mean my audio, like my speaking? I see. Okay. So I'm gonna type in my name. Okay. Axaeon. There we go. Top of the mountain, server notice. This chat is currently unavailable due to maintenance. Oh. Okay, that's kind of anticlimactic. You can join the unofficial community Discord instead. If you liked this game, my new game Baby Steps out on Steam. Oh yeah, I've tried Baby Steps before. It's another rage-inducing game, certainly. Okay, so there's really not much here, chat. It's just like this message about the chat is currently unavailable due to maintenance. And like, hey, join my Discord. Also, buy my new game, Baby Steps. But to be fair, like it's been, I think, 9 years since this game came out, so maybe it's unreasonable to expect to expect that that there will be, you know, a maintained chat here. Oh, there's a link to a souvenir shop, but I don't know if I. Let's see, souvenir shop. Oh, okay. Now, so I've taken listings down because it seems Spring is not fulfilling orders these days. In the meantime, you can order my designs via my backup store over at Spreadshirt. Okay. Lots and lots of backups. All right. So that's all there was to that chat. Oh, also look, now we don't even have the option of continue. It's just new game. Yep, that's the only way we can go about it now. But wow, what a cool experience near the end, actually getting up to the top. Oh, hey, Leon, welcome. Let's do that again. Yeah, you joined just in time for me to have finished playing the game, Leon. Yeah, let's do another 11 hours. Actually, I'm kind of curious. If I click new game here, oh yes, here's like the opening cutscene when he sort of emerges from his pot. Which, chat, maybe that's what it's like, you know, emerging from Plato's cave, the allegory of the cave. Diogenes emerges from the pot. I'm starting to think that maybe this allegory is perhaps part of the game. Maybe that's what it represents, you know, on a symbolic level. So I'm wondering, like, now that I've played the game, will I be any better at this opening part? Or is it just going to be super embarrassing and it ends up that I'm not actually better? Okay, I don't think I was able to do that last time.
Than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have,
New
or
voiceovers.
if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute. If you won some money at the casino and then put all your winnings on red but it came up black. If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on it. If you won an argument with a friend and then later discovered that they just returned to their original view. Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here. Alright,
Yeah,
thanks for coming with me.
it's so strange being in the starting
Understand
point
if you have
again.
to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. Don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even with
Oh,
mistakes.
okay, now these are the original voiceovers. I see.
This game is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002, titled Sexy Hiking. The author of that game was Jazuo, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B games are rough assemblages of found objects. Designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as
Yeah, this is I've got to say, it is a little bit surreal being back in the starting point.
Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely.
Maybe I'll
out
have
of
to
found
play
and
that
recycled
sexy
parts.
hiking game after
And it's
this.
one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor.
You've
No amount of
definitely
forward
improved at
progress
this.
is
Oh, thank you.
Some cliffs are too
Yeah, I
sheer
can
or
tell
too
it's
slippery. and the player is
Oh,
constantly
wait, I think I remember my
unremittingly
strategy from
in
this from the
danger of
previous
falling
time.
and
I
losing
went
everything.
like, there we go. Yep.
Anyway, when you start sexy hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength.
Yeah, this
trying
was,
to
I think,
find
the
a way
first
up and
major
over.
challenge in the game was
And there's
this
a sense
kind
of
of
truth in that lack of compromise.
this narrow
Most
passageway here.
obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in sexy hiking is real. The obstacles in sexy hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure
I wonder,
Jazzro
chat, can I
intended to make
can I
a
get past this
frustrating
part faster than
game.
I did the
Frustration is
previous
just
time, do you
essential
think?
to the
Because I think
act of
last
climbing,
time it took
and
me
it's
like
authentic to the
basically
process
an
of
entire
building a
stream
game about climbing.
on this part.
A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea
Yep.
for a new
Just
obstacle,
gotta get
and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually
get a
turn out to be
foothold there. Okay.
unreasonably hard.
Oops. Nope.
But I couldn't bring myself
There,
to make
there
it
we
easier.
go.
It already
Okay.
felt like my
There we go.
inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them, and it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that
Okay.
turns those mountains into something real.
Yep.
When you're building a video game world, you build
There
it
we
with
go.
ideas.
Yeah, chat.
And that can be
This
like
is
working with
it's
presets
so
cement.
different from the first
You mold your ideas
go
into
around
a certain
because
shape that can be
I think my
played with.
first stream of this
And in
game
the process
it took me
of playing with them,
more
they
than the
begin to
entire
harden
stream
and set until they're
to get
immutable,
less
like
far
rock.
than I've just gotten
At
right
that
now.
point, you can't change the world, not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh
So
with new
you
ideas.
really can see your progress at this game if you sort of go back
For years now,
to the
people have been
beginning
predicting that games would
and
soon be made
try
out of
again, you know.
fabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened because the objects in
But
the stores are trash. I don't mean they look
I
bad.
think
or that
that,
they're
yeah,
badly
probably
made,
I'll
although a lot of them are.
stop right around
I mean
here.
they're trash in the way that
And yeah, I just wanted to briefly kind of see what it was like to play that again. Oh wow, all of a sudden I'm big. Okay. So chat, thank you so much for playing that with me. It is surreal, yeah. Or for you know, being along for the ride, you know. I think I get how people love this game enough to replay it now. Yeah, it's definitely less painful on replays than on the first go around. In fact, I can see how on replays, like, you know, once you get up to the snake, you might even feel like taking that little snake ride, you know, just to go back down to the beginning and like see how fast you can get up back to the main part of it again. Can we do a philosophy Kahoot one day? Philosophy Kahoot, huh? I'm not super familiar with Kahoot, but I know it's a platform that involves like questions and answers, and I think sometimes it's used in like classrooms. I'll have to look it up and think, yeah, like maybe that could be a stream. So thank you for the idea, Web of Concepts. It's a little tough for me to say much about it now just because, again, I'm not super familiar with how Kahoot works, but I'll have to look it up after this stream and see, like, yeah, could there be potential there for a fun stream on that one day? If there is, then I'll be sure to announce it. And oh, hi, Estella. Oh yeah, Kahoot was so fun. So it sounds like you have some memories of using Kahoot in class then. Yeah, if it's a thing like that that works for classes, probably it would be really good for like getting chat, you know, involved, and music is a banger too. That way the stream could be more interactive. I see. Okay. You know, chat, what I'm going to do right now, I don't know if you just heard that pen click, but I am making a physical note on like actual physical paper because I'm old school like that about this idea. I'm just writing down right now. Yeah, philosophy Kahoot stream. So that is a possibility that I will look into more. Yeah, I do remember like the whole class competing in Kahoot. The fun of Kahoot was winning. Okay, sounds like maybe you're the competitive type with these things, Blue Ice Cubes. Also, I realized I missed some of the discussion earlier because I was kind of like stoked about getting into space and beating the game, but looks like we have some earlier discourse in the chat of Michael Humor. Oh yeah, because phenomenal conservatism came up. I googled phenomenal conservatism and saw Mike Humor and thought, of course, Axis Oshi. Yeah, I do think he's a very good philosopher. Though I know he's controversial. He's kind of a polarizing figure in philosophy. And so, of course, Mike Humor is seriously insufferable. Like, some of his philosophy is fine and stuff, but I just don't like him as a person. Wonder why. You can feel free to elaborate if you want to, Yovko. I mean, I don't really know too much about him as a person, but I do know. I think he's a very good philosophical writer, and I think has some very interesting ideas. But don't worry. Okay, I make paper notes too. Good to know I'm not the only one. Yeah, sometimes with paper notes, I think there are advantages to electronic notes, but with paper notes, I just find it easier to put them in places where I'll notice them. And like, if I have a note on my phone somewhere or on my iPad or my computer, then there's a part of me that worries like, okay, what if I forget to like open the file, that has the note? Whereas if it's just a note on my desk on a piece of paper, like I'm definitely going to see it. Paper beats iPad or laptop notes. Okay, so okay, Estella, you understand too then, the nature of paper notes. I love being good at something, so when I get competitive. Okay. Well, sounds like you're pretty good then at Philosophy Kahoot. So that could be a lot of fun. I haven't seen paper for like years. Ooh. Well, yeah, the thing about paper is that even if you haven't seen it for years, I think there's still that essence of paper that can stay in your mind. And I think even if I never saw a piece of paper again, I'd probably be a little sad. I'd probably start to miss paper eventually, but I think my experiences of paper over the years would always remain a part of me. So maybe they will always remain a part of you too, Web of Concepts. I'm searching for like bad stuff people said about him in a philosophy Discord server I'm a part of. I mean, I know some people don't like his opinions on things, like maybe, but I'm not aware of anything like as a person that he's done that seems wrong. Also, it makes me memorize better. Oh yeah, I have heard that that's true. Like the actual act of handwriting, like using a pen or a pencil, can trigger your brain to remember things more easily than if you're just typing them out. I prefer not talking smack about people when they're not there to advocate for themselves, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, I'm the same way to you. I think that's a very good note for the present. But yeah, what else was I going to say about that? That's why I swear by journaling. Oh yeah, journaling I think is also a good habit of if you, especially if you're about to like go to bed or go to sleep. I think sometimes journaling about how your day went can be a nice way of just kind of relaxing, at the end of the day and putting the day behind you. Them not being here means we can talk all the smack we want without consequences. Well, what a stark way of putting it, Web of Concepts. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are interesting questions that could be raised here. On one hand, of like, if someone is a public figure, like if they're like, in this case, for example, like a prominent philosopher, does that affect norms around which, it's okay or not okay to criticize someone, when they're not around to defend themselves? I could see some people arguing that, like, if someone is like very much a public figure, then maybe that makes it more okay or makes it less bad, to criticize them than if they're not, a public figure. I'm not sure if I, agree with that myself. It's not entirely clear to me anyway, if that's true, but maybe it is. I suppose I could see room for arguing that it's true. In one of his books, in the preface, as a reason for why you should read the book, he lists the author and says smart, knows a lot, not confused, which means you could probably learn a lot from this book. Okay, but like now, like that's a reason why I like him extra. That he has like funny statements like that. in his books, you know, like he writes with a sense of humor. Well, it was true to his name. And there I was not intending to make a pun on his name, but yeah, that's part of the reason why I like him personally. And it would seem he said so not in a joking manner. I mean, I think he does think highly of himself, but that's also kind of a thing that I like. He's not subject to false modesty. You know, I think, in my opinion, very accurately regards himself as a good philosopher, but like without putting others down, you know, necessarily. He just has a high opinion of himself, but in a way that seems to me like rather healthy and like rather cool, and that like I wish more people, you know, were able to think of themselves in that way. At least for people, you know, for whom it would be merited to think of themselves in that way. Honestly, that's kind of goated. Yeah, like whenever I see anybody who just rejects the false modesty, but also like doesn't fall into the other trap of putting others down, of being mean, of being, you know, condescending, but just, you know, very in a very nice way, but like, you know, firm and straightforward way, like recognizes their strengths and like doesn't try to, you know, hide the fact that they have those strengths. I think that's really cool. Tia says, UFCO, I'm pretty sure that's the book I have, and it's fucking hilarious. It is, yeah. But I mean, I guess, you know, it's maybe somewhat polarizing style. You know, some people like it, some people don't. But Mike humor is like on par with Usain Bolt for fitting names. Ooh, yeah, that's a good observation, Tia. He then follows up with, maybe you shouldn't believe me yet because you just met me and maybe I'm biased. Maybe you want to know if I'm enough of an expert to write a textbook. And then he goes on. Yeah, it seems to me like that's, you know, just recognizing like, okay, yeah, the reader might not be in a position to judge yet, you know, whether I'm a good philosopher, and so acknowledging it. Describing where he graduated from, that he got a PhD in top university, taught philosophy for over 20 years, has written over 70 articles, many earlier books, and speaks with all of which he prestigiously describes as objective facts. Just to make clear how much of a big shot he is. I mean, it seems to me like that all of that material is pretty standard, like I guess normally it would be on like the back cover of a book maybe, or like about the author. There's like a segment on like the cover or the jacket saying like, okay, like here's some of the author's experience in this field. It doesn't seem to me like such a strange thing to say like, hey, here's, you know, my experience, and if you're wondering, you know, what background I have in this, like here are some features of my background. Did I miss it? Has Hack succeeded? TP Ninja, we made it to the top. So no worries about having to miss it. You can still check the VOD, but yes, very fortunately we made it and we got to see the end of the game. It was a wonderful moment on stream. Humor hate stream. If there's a stream about humor on this channel, it's not going to be a hate stream. It's going to be like humor appreciation stream. Also, I think there's a difference between criticizing a public figure's policies or philosophies and just whining about who they are. Very good point, Tia. Yeah, that's a very, I think, fair distinction to make here. Of yeah, like the kind of discourse that I think is preferable is when it's about figures, policies, views, or yeah, philosophies or policies versus just, you know, personal characteristics. But again, yeah, just to emphasize, like even when it comes to personal characteristics, I've never heard anything about humor that seems off. And part of the reason why I guess I invited follow-up discussion of it is just that it seems to me like when these things get brought up, it's if there is, you know, nothing, and I'm not saying this is the case, but like if there is in fact not really much to the accusations, then I think it's good to sort of air that out and sort of make that known. But yeah, and this, if he's published 70 papers, I'd say he's earned the right to brag about it. Yeah, publishing 70 papers is a pretty impressive achievement. Another point, which has more to do about their philosophy, is that according to a logic nerd friend of mine, Humor's overconfident about his knowledge of logic and lacks basic understanding. So there's a debate he had with Beale, a famous logician, where Beale supposedly taught him Logic 101. Okay, I haven't seen that debate, but I have to watch it. I'll be curious to see how the debate goes. Yeah, ultimately, I think for any philosopher who does a lot of debates, there are always going to be some, at least, that they look back on and think, oh, gee, like, I could have done better in that debate. I don't know if this is one of those cases for humor or not. Again, I haven't seen the debate, but yeah, anytime somebody participates in a lot of debates and, puts themselves out there and like isn't afraid to, subject their views to scrutiny, I can't help but have a lot of respect for that. Because I think it does take a certain courage, especially if you're putting out your views on a lot of debates on, diverse topics, and like you sort of dabble in many areas of philosophy. I think there is a real courage to do that. I don't like his ideas, but it's respectable how he has something insightful to add on any philosophy topic. It's a nice way of putting your thought there, Web of Concepts. That, sometimes even when a philosopher has ideas we might not like, we can still have a certain respect for them. And I think you've communicated that well here. Arguing can be fun. Yeah, some people just really seem to like the process of, being in philosophical debates. And I will admit, I'm like that too. I enjoy a good debate as much as anyone, provided that the debaters are, treating each other with respect and are debating in good faith, and trying to get to the truth. I think that's a lot of fun. I think sometimes when people hear the word debates and they search up like debates on YouTube, they have in mind more of something like, a rhetorical fight, or where the debaters are not arguing in good faith. And I don't enjoy debates like that. I'm more interested in the more intellectually serious debates. But yeah, when it comes to the intellectually serious and good faith debates, I think that those are just wonderful, and that's a big part of what philosophy is about, is engaging with each other in that way. In my opinion, being insufferable gets a pass if you can walk the talk, like Tony Stark or Sherlock Holmes. Nice examples there. Regardless, doesn't have any direct bearing on his ideas, which should stand on their own merits. Also very true, yes. Yeah, I think that's a point that people can be... It can be easy for some people to forget sometimes, or... like, especially if it's an extreme case of someone who is really annoying, that might make us kind of biased against their ideas. But in light of that, it's important to remember, just as your comment says, Tia, that someone could be the most annoying person in the world, but like still have like really good arguments on something, where their opinions, their conclusions could still be true. Sherlock Holmes, and a little bit embarrassingly, I haven't read any of the Sherlock Holmes books, but yeah, is he depicted as annoying in those books? I wonder. Maybe he's annoying in virtue of how smart he is, or like he's always able to get to the bottom of the case. Like he makes the other detective look bad. And yeah, Tony Stark. I only saw the first Iron Man movie. I'm not really too knowledgeable about Iron Man and Tony Stark and all of that, but yeah, it does seem like he's able to walk the talk. So maybe that gives him a pass on things like if there's a certain swagger and confidence that he has, maybe he's earned the right to it, I guess you could say. Webb says, no one likes the master debaters, but the philosophy debates are fun. Yes. Oh, I think I know the master debaters, like the debate bros. Are you thinking there? Yeah, it's I'm trying to think if there are other realms of human endeavor that are like this, where the normal understanding of a certain word, like in this case debate, is something that is maybe not that interesting or not that meritorious, doesn't really have much value, but there's a version of it that is much better, of like having like a genuine, intellectually engaging, intellectually honest philosophical debate. Maybe sports are like this, like if a certain sport is one that a person is playing and they're not playing it fairly, they're kind of playing dirty, like, getting certain fouls in when the ref isn't looking. Maybe that's kind of a lower form of the sport than if you are playing fairly and like showing respect for your opponent. So yeah, I could see how maybe there's an analogy to be made with sports here. Wow, really? I've read them all. Wow, that's impressive. Read them all. Holmes is known for being pretty antisocial and self-assured. I see. Yeah, I can see how those qualities would annoy some people, but since he's Sherlock Holmes, you know, he gets a pass on it. Stella says, plus he's rich. Ooh, yeah, I guess, yeah, to Tony Stark there. True, yeah, can't forget the fact that he's rich and he has like a secret, you know, laboratory and makes cool stuff. Yeah, all very, very solid points. But now that that is over, boy, I tell you, chat, it feels like a big weight has been lifted off my back. Because before, like, beating this game, it was like, oh, am I going to be able to beat this game on stream? And those of you who have seen me play games on stream before and have, like, followed my game playing on stream will know that usually when I start a game on stream, I don't end it until I've beaten the game on stream. Now, there are exceptions. For example, I started playing Baby Steps, Bennett Foddy's follow-up game, and at least so far, I've not beaten that game on stream. I don't know if I'll go back to it. I might, but that one I didn't like quite as much as Getting Over It. I think that Getting Over It was a better, more interesting game, at least from my experience so far. But maybe if I play Baby Steps a little longer, I would like it more. Who knows? But there's, yeah, the Star Trek Voyager game. I did not. I've only played that once, so I might come back to that one again. If they've patched it to fix some of the issues that it had. But yeah, normally when I play a game on stream, I like to finish it out. You know, I feel like I'm kind of letting chat down almost if they start getting into a game that I play on stream, and then like I'm not able to finish it. It feels like turning off a movie midway that, you know, chat was into, and just like not like coming back to finish the movie. So I'm really glad that we were able to finish this one on stream. I think that actually does make it, you know, it's something that I really hoped we'd be able to do, and the fact that we've done it, you know, makes me very happy. Tia says it was when I was a lot younger. Oh yeah, reading the Sherlock Holmes. Wouldn't have time for that now. Rest in peace. Yeah, I know now you're busy with your art projects and your VTubing, and I'm glad you got to read them when you were younger, though. You've done it. Yes, yes. Sherlock Holmes in the movies will somehow just deduce the names of your ancestors based on what you're eating. True. He's unparalleled for that kind of thing. Congrats for the third time. Super happy for you. Oh, thanks, Tia. I'll see if I can't get you the prize that was promised. Ooh, a prize. Now I'm super curious. Well, no worries if you can't end up with whatever prize it is, but yeah, that's a very nice thought. Thank you. Stella says no. Sorry, I've forgotten what that no was in response to, but also I've been replaying your No I'm Not a Human stream a lot lately. Very comfy and good for studying. I'm delighted to hear that. It's interesting to me that, yeah, the certain streams like that, I guess they can work well, I suppose, arguably for background, for studying and things like that. So I'm delighted to hear that the streams like that have been helpful for, because I know what it's like to have a lot of studying ahead and having to do a lot of studying in a day. So anything I can do to help with that, I'm very delighted to hear. Yeah, it was a ton of fun, and congrats on getting over it. Thank you, Web of Concepts. So everyone, probably I'm going to go in just a second, but just for a quick announcement, I think tomorrow I will potentially do a stream in the afternoon or evening. Probably not at my normal streaming time if I do end up deciding to do it, but it might be slightly earlier than my normal streaming time. Maybe just by, like, you know, an hour or two or a few hours. So not anything crazy. But yeah, I'm thinking possibly a stream tomorrow. It's also my fave game lately. Oh, okay. The No I'm Not a Human. Yeah, it's it's a good game for streaming, certainly. He was one of the few X streams I haven't watched. I was afraid it would spook me too much to focus on making my VTuber model. Oh yeah, it is kind of a spooky stream. So if you're not, if it's going to be too spooky, there's no pressure to watch it, Tia. Ooh, yippee. Speaking of that stream, yeah, Pogger's full Philosophy Day. That's right. Yeah, Tia is, I think, yeah, is at least thinking of, and if you decide you're not well enough, Tia, I'm sure you could always push it back if need be, but at least the plan is, yeah, Tia is going to do a karaoke stream, and then Karis is doing his collab with Syzygy Altair. And then I'm wondering, chat, what do you think? Should I give a hint of tomorrow's stream, or would you rather have it be a surprise? Would you rather be surprised by the stream? Because I don't know, like sometimes I feel like these things might be best left for a surprise, but then, you know, sometimes maybe giving a hint works best. I love No, I'm Not Human. I enjoyed checking your previous streams and seeing the VODs. Okay. Well, that's good to know, Blaze Cubes. I'm glad that you enjoyed seeing the VODs of previous streams. Surprise. Oh no, people are... Some people want the surprise. Some people want the suspense. Some people want the hint. Maybe a hint wouldn't hurt. Ooh, what am I gonna do, chat? What am I gonna do? Okay, how about this? I will give a hint, but if you're someone who wants it to be a surprise, then you can just go ahead and like close your eyes and close your ears, and here in just a second, the hint will be over. So yeah, go up to, yeah, time to go. A poll, Axe a poll. That's actually a good note, TP Ninja. I don't know if I've ever done a poll before. Maybe I'll go ahead and do a poll just to make sure I'm... Let's see, if I click on the stream chat. This is going to be kind of embarrassing, chat, but let's see. Yeah, I'm typing or clicking on the 3 dots here, but there doesn't seem to be any poll option. There's gotta be a way to do this. Let's see, like community moderation, participants, moderation activity, timestamps, reactions, send feedback. Or maybe I need to watch the chat not in the typical pop-out window that I have now. Maybe I need to like actually go to the stream itself. There should be an option. Oh, below the chat box. Why? Why didn't I think of that? Oh, you're right, Tia. There is one below the chat box. Okay. Yeah, I'm super embarrassed now. Sorry, chat. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Hint at tomorrow's stream. There we go. Okay. So it's just going to be a simple yes or no. And so far, it seems like, okay, seems like the yes is winning out. Looks like there's maybe one no vote, but it looks like more yes votes. We learn something new each day. Yes, indeed we do. So that'll be useful to me in future streams, actually knowing how to do that. So I'm glad that we gave this a try. But chat, I can tell you, not to worry, a little streamer solidarity fixes everything. Thank you so much. Taj, I'm the only one who said no. Well, actually, it looks like the final result was no 40%, so maybe... So I guess that means that 2 people voted no, since there were 5 votes. So Estella, you're not totally alone. Not totally alone. There's one other no vote to keep you company. But anyway, you can go ahead and hold your ears and close your eyes for a second, because I'll give you the hint. So chat, here is the hint at tomorrow's stream, or at least my next stream. So recently, if you've been following some of my philosophy streams, you know that some of them have been about my work on the moral status of monogamy and my views on that, and that this is work that is, relatively controversial. I propose a fairly unpopular opinion when it comes to romantic restrictions and romantic promises and things like that, and commitments and promises. And that part of my view has involved sort of a moral opposition to monogamy and a claim to the effect that it would be morally better to reject monogamy and to be open to letting your partner date additional parties. And the nature of this work is such that, every once in a while it gets shared on social media, especially Twitter. Like, new people discover it, and occasionally there's like a little meltdown on Twitter. Recently there was one of those, and I'm just going to see if I can share the thumbnail of tomorrow's stream. Yeah, so here's the thumbnail of tomorrow's stream. That was one of the tweets that that was there. I was thinking I might do a reaction, a reaction to this recent Twitter dogpiling and so on. And for anyone who's like worried about my mental health, not to worry. I'm not someone who gets bothered by these things. But the reason why I'm thinking of doing a stream on it is that it seems to me that there are interesting questions to be raised here about the nature of social media and social media pile-ons. And I will say this is not the first time this has happened to me in connection to work that I've done, where it's gotten, quite a polarized response or gotten some quite extreme responses. And so as someone who has, some experience with these kinds of things, I think that I've learned certain things about, ways of confronting social media pile-ons and questions that it raises about social media. So I look forward to talking about that, and also engaging with some of the arguments that people were making, because some of them actually were not just, hate comments. Some of them were good faith arguments that I think deserve to be engaged with. So I think it would be worthwhile to do a stream on that. If Twitter finds your stream, they'll eat you alive. So I say, bring it on. I will take you all on. I'm not afraid. Mean tweets, Axaeon edition. Yeah, that's actually a good way of summing it up. Tia, yeah, definitely. Basically, yeah, mean tweet stream, but with a philosophical twist to it. I swear this issue is evergreen. Pretty much it is. So still not sure if I'll do that tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, then maybe Sunday or maybe early next week. But I think that is all for right now, chat. I think for right now, I'm going to go and relax and take a little break. But thanks again so much, everyone, for being here for me during this stream. It was a lot of fun to beat this game with you all cheering me on. So thank you again. Tomorrow, don't forget about, at the very least, the other two members of Philosophy will be streaming. So that means Tia for the karaoke stream and Karis for his collab with Syzygy Altair, and possibly me as well a bit later in the day. But wherever you are, wherever you find yourself tomorrow and in days beyond, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and know that I will always I will be thinking of you in the meantime, as always, and, looking forward to deciding what future streams we can do together. So thanks again, chat. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.